guys, welcome! In this video, we're going to take a closer look at AIS Wallenstein, one of the two new hero classes coming to ROM. AIS is a high-mobility magic damage dealer who uses dual attack scaling mechanics to unleash insane amounts of wind element damage to her targets. We already had our first look at AIS and showcased her PvE potential as a solo DPS in my earlier videos. This time we'll dive deeper into her skill mechanics and then break down her strengths and weaknesses to help you decide if she's worth spending on. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. First up, let's look at AIS's core gameplay mechanic. AIS's primary damaging skill is Silver Glow, which is a single target lock-on skill that creates a small AoE around the target, dealing 1 damage tick per second to the target and nearby enemies for 3 seconds. Although its magic attack multiplier is slightly below average at 1440%, its damage can be amplified through its related star rune. When equipped with her Tier 5 signature weapon, the duration of Silver Glow is extended to 4 seconds, dealing a total of 4 damage ticks. If the enemy targeted by Silver Glow dies, the small AoE disappears immediately and does not remain on the field. Also keep in mind that this skill has a 5-second VCT, so cast time debuffs in Oracle and Airship can be problematic. AIS's core passive Sword of Despair further enhances Silver Glow. Each hit of Silver Glow applies a green circular fan-shaped mark above the target. Once it reaches 5 stacks, it generates a mini whirlwind that lasts for 5 seconds, dealing 1 damage tick per second, with each tick equal to 70% of Silver Glow's damage. The key difference is that Silver Glow benefits from AoE skill magic damage and crowd damage stats, while the mini whirlwind does not. At level 4 core passive, the first tick of the mini whirlwind reduces a target's refined magic damage reduction by 5%, stacking up to 5 times for a total of 25%. This debuff lasts for 5 seconds, and each new stack refreshes its duration. Right now, AIS is the only class that can reduce this specific type of damage reduction, which is extremely valuable for magic-based team comps when clearing Constellation Tower and other endgame instances. Because of this, you can function either as main DPS or as a support debuffer to amplify another magic damage dealer's output. At level 7 core passive, the lower limit of AIS's movement speed is increased to 150% and she can move freely even while affected by immobilizing effects, including stun, freeze, and snare status. This insane mobility from her level 7 core passive is incredibly useful for map exploration, boss hunts, clearing dungeons, and PvP content. AIS also has a buff skill called Ariel, which automatically casts 1 Silver Glow damage tick per second on nearby enemies, further improving her damage potential. This buff lasts 15 seconds, but its duration can be extended by 1 second every time she moves a total of 10 meters. Since Ariel has a fixed 45-second cooldown, you want to constantly move around your target to maintain as much uptime as possible on this essential buff. Overall, her core gameplay revolves around repeatedly casting Silver Glow, generating mini whirlwinds, and circling around the target to deal consistent sustained damage over time. Up next, let's take a look at AIS's other sources of damage. Aside from her sustained DPS from Silver Glow and small whirlwind, AIS can also deal a massive burst damage, which is especially useful for boss hunting. Her burst phase starts when you activate Ariel, which immediately grants plus 30% final damage. While Ariel is active, she can cast Ragnarok, which is a powerful AoE burst skill that deals 16 times of Silver Glow's damage to the target and all enemies within 6 meters. To balance how strong this skill is, Ragnarok has a 24-second cooldown, so even with cooldown reduction gears, you'll usually only be able to use it once or twice per Ariel cycle. Its damage can penetrate through shields, making it a good counter to Liu Maoxing's thick shield. With the related star rune, Ragnarok's damage increases by up to 30% against enemies at full HP or with a shield. Since this modifier is multiplicative, she can deal up to 69% more damage to targets with full HP and a shield if you roll the max rune value. Next, Whirlwind is an attack, mobility, and crowd control skill in one. Upon use, AIS dashes in a straight line along a 12x4 meter path, dealing damage equal to 5 ticks of silver light in a single hit to all enemies in her path. At the same time, it knocks enemy players off their mounts or mechs and stuns them for 3 seconds, which can bypass stun immunity. Targets already marked by her core passive will also be stunned. This gives Whirlwind excellent flexibility as both an engage tool and a panic button to disengage. Whirlwind has a cooldown of 24 seconds, which can be reduced by CD reduction gears and its related S rune. And lastly, Wind and Fire Symphony is a large circular AoE skill that deals 1 tick of wind damage every second for 5 seconds while pulling enemies towards the center of its AoE. If Belle is in the party on the same map, it will also deal an additional tick of fire magic damage every second. Even without Belle, this skill offers valuable crowd control, especially in instances with a large number of mobs. Just note that its full effect is weaker than Thor's Lightning Cling, and it doesn't affect MVP monsters. Up next, let's break down Ice's buff skills. First, Enhance is Ice's strong damage boosting buff. For a cost of 10,000 Zenny per cast, it allows Ice's magic skills to benefit from physical attack, physical penetration, and physical damage bonuses. In other words, these 3 physical damage modifiers are added on top of her magic damage modifiers when calculating her overall damage. This is what sets her apart from traditional magic classes. Just note that when using a sword-type weapon, she benefits from melee physical attack and melee physical damage, and you'll need a precision stone or other methods to reduce the weapon size penalty when fighting large-sized monsters. When using a staff-type weapon, she benefits from ranged physical attack and ranged physical damage, and she won't suffer from weapon size penalty. With the related star rune, Silverlight can also factor in size damage bonuses and a target size damage reduction in its damage calculation similar to Sarah Aileen. Additionally, this rune boosts her damage against targets of all sizes by up to 30%. This dual attack scaling design encourages hybrid stat optimization, making her extremely efficient at utilizing mixed physical and magic gear setups. What sets her apart from traditional dual attack classes is that both the physical and magic portions of her damage calculation are amplified by size damage modifiers, whereas for most dual attack classes, only the physical portion is affected by size damage. Next is Special Training, which is both a self-buff and a team-wide buff. For the teammates, they gain up to 50 points of Strength, Agi, Vit, Int, Dex, and Luck as long as they've reached Adventure rank level 50. For Ice herself, it boosts her magic damage and wind damage by 30%, and this can go up to 60% if Belle is in the party and on the same map. Although this buff is dispellable, it lasts for 2 minutes, so it can be up 100% of the time. Her third buff, the Guardian of the Flame Wind, is a team-wide defensive buff. Upon use, Ice and all teammates gain 10% movement speed, 50 flee, and with a rated S rune up to 10% perfect dodge. If Belle is in the party and on the same map, this buff will also provide a damage-absorbing shield equal to 50% of the beneficiary's max HP. Belle has similar synergistic skill, so with both buffs active, the entire team will receive 20% movement speed, 100 flee, and up to 10% perfect dodge, and a combined damage-absorbing shield equal to up to 130% of the beneficiary's max HP. And lastly, we have Ariel, which we already mentioned earlier as an essential buff that automatically casts 1 silver light damage tick per second on nearby enemies and is also required to cast Lil Rafaga. In addition to that, Ariel grants plus 30% final damage, plus 50% final damage reduction, and plus 50% movement speed while also ignoring slow and ground-based skill effects. To balance how overpowered this skill is, the effect only lasts for 15 seconds, but it can be extended by 1 second every time she moves for a total of 10 meters. Since it has a fixed cooldown of 45 seconds, you would want to constantly move around your target to maintain the uptime of this essential buff. Finally, let's go over Ice's passive skills. First, Wind Monster Mastery grants 30% additional Ignore M-Def and M-Pen. It also sets the base elemental counter coefficient of her wind-based attacks against targets with level 1 wind or earth element armor to 1, ensuring that her damage output remains consistent and isn't significantly reduced even when she's at an elemental disadvantage. Second, Wind Gypsy grants 20 magic attack for every 1% movement speed above the 100% base movement speed. So at 250% movement speed, she gains 3000 raw magic attack, which is further amplified by her magic attack percent stat, making it a powerful damage scaling passive. On top of that, it reduces the physical damage and magic damage she receives by 30% while moving, consistent with her active movement gameplay. Third, Tempest increases Ice's damage against all monsters and non-demi-human race players by 60%. It also grants fear immunity, but in exchange reduces her resistance to all abnormal statuses by 10%, so there's a slight defensive trade-off. Lastly, Windshield is her main survivability passive. It grants a shield that increases her AA and skill damage reduct by 90% and reduces HP loss damage taken by 50%. It also blocks one single target lock-on skill, but doing so removes the shield for 5 seconds, so you have to be careful during that vulnerability window. In PvP, this can block dangerous skills like Soul Judgment from Soulbinder, Lowland Trick from Elenia, and Delivery Exception from Khafra. To summarize, AIS offers a unique combination of strengths in both PvE and PvP. First, one of AIS's biggest strengths is her high damage ceiling thanks to the dual attack scaling from Enhance. This allows her to fully utilize both magic and physical damage modifiers, including physical attack, physical damage, physical pen, and size damage, resulting in strong DPS performance regardless if you're coming from a magic or physical class. Second, AIS has exceptional mobility, which is incredibly useful across all content, especially in map exploration, boss hunts, PvP battles, and dungeons. Aside from having a 150% base movement speed, she gains plus 50% movement speed and immunity to slow and ground-based effects while Auriel is active. She can also dash up to 12 meters using Whirlwind. In PvP, she's hard to catch since she can still move while under immobilizing crowd control and is also immune to fear. Third, AIS offers reliable crowd control and support. Her Whirlwind skill is not only used for mobility but also dismounts and stuns enemies, making her a direct counter to Elenia. She can pull enemies toward the center of Wind and Fire Symphony, and her level 4 core passive can reduce the enemy's refined magic damage reduction by up to 25%, allowing her to be played as a support debuffer for magic mains in Constellation Tower and airship runs. And fourth, even though AIS doesn't have an innate anti-fatal mechanic, she can still survive for a long time on the battlefield. Wind Shield, Wind Gypsy, and Auriel provide consistent damage reduction and protection, making her more durable than most DPS classes. Meanwhile, the Guardian of the Flame Wind damage-absorbing shield improves the team's survivability, especially when Belle is in the party. But of course, AIS still has some shortcomings that you should consider. First, Enhance costs 10,000 Zenny per cast, which can become expensive over time, but it remains essential for optimal performance. Second, all of AIS's offensive skills are locked to Wind Element, which can limit her effectiveness in certain PvE and PvP matchups. To mitigate this, AIS needs reliable teammates who can use the Tidal Set or Freeze gears to convert the enemies into Water Element. In Dark Convert parties, another option is to pair her with a Khafra who can turn her attacks into Holy Element. And lastly, while AIS is still effective on her own, her full potential is only unlocked when paired with Belle, as many of her most impactful skill effects are designed to synergize with him. In conclusion, AIS's skill set is highly versatile, allowing her to function as a strong magic damage dealer, utility support, or a hybrid of both. In the right hands, she can deliver exceptional damage and crowd control while offering valuable buffs to her teammates. Whether you're a physical or magic main, I think it's good to try AIS's high damaging skills and unique playstyle. How about you guys? Will you be playing AIS Wallenstein? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll also be releasing a full guide on AIS's PvE DPS build in other videos, so stay tuned for that. And as always, keep in mind that the actual in-game content may vary from what's presented in this video. Alright, that's it for this video guys. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed watching this guide. If you're new here, I would love you to consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button down below. I would love to have you back. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode.